COSATU would then come again and tell us that they'll be behind the ANC. Let's vote for the ANC. They'll be asking your employees to rally behind the candidate of the ANC to return power.
Yes.
Do you not find it as a contradiction? Because people are always quoting it against yourselves.
No. Look, I think is
Explain to the citizens.
Yes.
They say the city of Tshwane did not understand grants and stuff. They had to return money. What does it mean?
No, there's no way that they didn't understand. This is what is happening.
The EFF is so cold. It calls Panyaza the crime wardens. It calls them green beans. It says through their CIC, of course,
yes,
once they take provincial power, they are going to fire all of those guys.
Sure.
What message can you give to the citizens?
I think that's an own goal, eh? But it's not only. I don't know why we are fascinated about talking EFF saying that. Tshwane hasn't said, when we take national government, we're going to fire all public servants. That's what he said. So it's not, we may be fascinated about the EFF, but there's somebody who's talking something bigger than what the EFF is. When the strike in 2019 didn't comply with section of the labor relations. And he said, no, tell me if that strike is protected or unprotected. And we said it's not protected. There are consequences for embarking on that because you are violating the law. We are a registered trade union. Therefore, you need to act as you get arrested. So in the South African context, if it's unprotected, it is a misconduct.
Yeah.
So it must be dealt with as a misconduct. It's not illegal. I've heard a lot of people say it's illegal. No, there's nothing like that. There's no.
So why isn't Panyaza Lesufi going to the #1 office in Mahlambandof?
Good question. Take that man to give him the presidency. He has done well. If you can,
he's the only shining.
If you can.
Morning. Please tell the audience who are you and where you from.
No, my name is Gauteng Mutabi. I stay in Centurion. I was born in the Republic of Venda some years ago.
He's pulling those numbers now. He's taking us to the Bantu
in the Republic. I came to Pretoria when I was 18, many years ago, to study here in Pretoria. Currently, I'm staying in Centurion. I'm a member of the African National Congress. I'm a member of SAMWU. I'm also a shop steward. I'm the Deputy General Secretary of South African Municipal Workers Union.
You are a full-rounded South African, and you are a typical South African. You move away from a place of birth, and you converge with others,
yes,
as migrant laborers,
yes,
to the province of Gauteng.
No, definitely. I mean, everybody growing up at our time, we cannot imagine a better life without thinking of Gauteng. When it was still PWV at the time. So that's where we all come here for schooling, but we end up not going back. Just like many other foreign nationals, they come to South Africa as visitors and they become permanent residents.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell them at the dawn of the new democracy, just post 94,
yes,
why Vereeniging was important in the PWV.
No. Look, in terms of Vereeniging, remember there was institution like your ISCO, where we are manufacturing steel, which was big, a state-owned enterprise, and also, you also have the Val Dam, which is not really far from it, and you have power stations that are generating electricity. So in terms of industrialization, Vereeniging was very important.
And Germiston as well.
And Germiston, that's where you find most of the firms in South Africa. Yes.
You would have realized that those power industries
Yes.
would have anchored what we now call Gauteng province. It is, quoting Panyaza Lusuf, it is the third biggest economy in the African continent, only surpassed by Nigeria and
Egypt.
and Egypt.
Yes.
You could just imagine how big and how important Gauteng is.
Gauteng is big. It's big and very important.
And chief amongst them is, I remember Msimang said, Suli said, when he was still campaigning for the top job in Tshwane, he said he's going to revive the industries of Pretoria West.
Yes.
To even make sure that the power station comes into life and it contributes back to the grid. It's water under the bridge. It didn't happen, and that's why you are here to tell us what are the problems with this city. Please unpack it for us.
No, look. I want to tap in from what you have said. They said they want to reindustrialize, especially Pretoria West, by making sure that the power stations generate and they contribute to the national grid. But the opposite happened. Both power stations, Royal and Pretoria West, were abandoned. And that is why you find challenges insofar as electricity is concerned, because if you look at Pretoria West, it has become a den of thieves. People are now going in there. One day you find people putting their shacks because nothing is happening. But there's a difference between theorizing how governing and dealing with practical things. Majority of people, it's good to talk as an opposition. But when you are given power to change things around, it becomes so difficult. If you look at for example, your where Bushiri used to have his church. What is this? Showground.
Yeah.
It has collapsed completely. The problem is that parties like your DA, as much as it was in a coalition, still in a coalition, they were shocked by leading a city like Tshwane. They didn't have a proper program to say this is what we are going to do, or a minimum program to say this is what we are going to fix first. And majority of things are compounded by DA being a regional organization. As far as I'm concerned, they are comfortable in the Western Cape. Going out of the Western Cape, material conditions differs because you need to behave differently. There are expectations, and these expectations may not be met. But the problem is the poor planning from opposition and not even having a minimum program to say what is that we are going to do. But over and above that, there's a common problem with political parties and politicians, that we just want to oppose each other for the sake of opposing. Even where an opposition is doing good, you wouldn't pick up to say, here, I think the ANC has done well insofar as this is concerned. I think the DA has done well. Maybe this we can replicate. I've made an example of Mid-Val to say it's one of the shining municipalities under the DA. Why are we not replicating it in other municipalities and make sure that we govern the same way as they are governing, you see? So we need to take best from both.
Okay. What is the problem with the city of Tshwane? Is it only the lack of vision in terms of implementing programs? Were they not ready to govern? Are they not sabotaged? Or they're just complete failures from whoever gave it to Sulim Simang, to whoever Sulim Simang gave it to? Is it an institution? I'm talking about the DA. Is it an institution that fails to take over the biggest municipality in South Africa, by the way?
It's a combination. It's not just one problem and you can say this is the problem, then this is how we're going to fix it. Other programs are structural. It's how you find things there are. For example, the biggest problem across municipalities, I'm not going to confine it to City of Tshwane, but I'll come back to City of Tshwane. It also impacts, the problems are compounded by the funding model of municipalities. And the fact that there are a lot of changes in the local government. And when you look at the constitutional mandate of local government and how they must generate money, it's a quasi-federal state that municipality are supposed to self-sustain by selling your bulk services, be it water, be it electricity. And this reselling is difficult. So this is the one area that we have been canvassing to say maybe government must look at how to the funding model works. Because it's not only going to fail Tshwane, but over and above that is the systems in place. For example, the revenue protection. The revenue protection has collapsed completely. And nobody is taking responsibility to say, how do we make sure that revenue protection is enhanced and all that. But others are not really structural, are just man-made. There are challenges in terms of the personnel, whether we are changing our public servant into professionalizing them and be patriotic and look at, if I don't go to work at 7 o'clock and knock off at 6 and do what I'm supposed to do, what will be the ripple, the effect of that if I don't do what I'm supposed to do? So, but others are, like you said, the lack of vision to say, how do we envision a capital city which is supposed to be a beacon of hope of the entire South Africa? And how do we make sure that services reach people? The budgeting process, you can see, is skewed now. If you look at the affluent areas, they are doing well. They don't have challenges. The challenges are mostly in the township and all that, and nobody is taking care of that. If you go to Garangwa, you go to Atteridgeville, you jump over a sewer system, the drainage are not working, nobody talks about it. There's no money that is given to do that. There's no prioritization of areas where majority of our people are staying. But obviously, you're looking at the DA, the mandate is very clear. When they were formed, they were there to protect white privileges, and that must be said. That is why they're so comfortable to be in a coalition government with FF Plus, and you never see them on a public spat between the FF Plus and the DA. You ask yourself why. They never differ. Even if they were to differ, it won't be fundamental like other black organizations where they differ and tear each other apart. So they know what they are protecting. When the other one is trying to be a liberal, the other one is conservative, but their mandate, the core mandate is the same.
The interests remain white supremacy.
No, definitely. That is why when you talk about employment equity, this one they will cry blood, because they understand that when you talk about the equity, it's not what they want. They don't want people they don't want us to equalize and participate in an equal footing. They will even tell you, by the way, to say, why must we be judged on skin color? But we are reversing all the injustices that was done the past 300 years.
Okay. You spoke about how do you call it playing middleman, when Eskom is supposed to charge me directly and the city comes and become a middleman, and they create it's a system that baffles me, because in other municipalities you would find people become clients of Eskom directly. And in other cities, you find Joburg Water, you find City Power in Johannesburg. Is that a fundamental problem? Why are others struggling and others not struggling?
No. Look. Municipalities are given a different mandates. There are those who are water, who provide water. They are allowed to provide water as a municipality. They are allowed to provide electricity as a municipality. So they are accredited to do that. But there are municipalities that are not. That's where you see Eskom directly transmitting water to them directly. Yeah, and there are others that you find that rent water directly is pumping water to them. But City of Tshwane is a municipality which is big. It needs to sustain itself. It must resale. But over and above that, remember, we're a developmental state. This municipality is supposed to subsidize indigents, people who cannot afford. That is why you find that we buy electricity, maybe per unit you buy it 250 cents from Eskom, but you sell it 190 to the public.
Because I wanted to ask that, is it becoming a middleman, is it a way of raising funds and then they start forgetting the other critical things that are municipality based, where Eskom can come in? I'm asking out of oblivion. I have no idea how it should work.
No, but
is it not adding too many skills that the city itself is failing instead of concentrating on its core competencies, and I don't even know what its core competencies would be. Why is the city struggling?
Look, municipalities, their core competence is to deliver water, electricity, refuse removal, transport, and among others. Yeah, you know, other
road sewers and
road sewer and all that. If you look at City of Tshwane or other metros, they replicate the national government. They've got all these national departments that national government does have. You will have public works, that way you'll find your roads, your stormwater. You still have water and sanitation, where you find electricity, water department. That will deal with installation of infrastructure and also transmitting water. So that is where the municipality must generate fund. Remember, they've got constitutional mandate. And one of the constitutional mandate is that you need to be able to sustain. Hence I call it quasi-federal state, because they need to make money out of bulk reselling.
Yeah.
You have to resell your electricity, your water, and among other things, by the way, and your rental and tax and what do you call it, the taxes that you need to pay.
Because you know what worries me?
Yes.
So Limsing Manga says, I think it's when he was still leading.
Yes.
He went to the rival treatment plant.
Yes.
With Gauteng Premier.
Yes.
Makura. They went there and then they agreed. They made a lot of agreements on how they should move.
Yes.
They called Mama Action. Nomvula Mkonyane says, "Oh, what are you wanting to do? Wait. We'll see how to do it."
Yes.
And she never did it. You know, these cities then become a microcosm of national government, and people start seeing that no, this is not conforming. You see, this white mayor of Tshwane.
Yes.
That guy refuses to go when the premier of Gauteng calls them.
Look.
I mean, Premier Yusuf is struggling to call this guy to a meeting.
Is it
because this guy does not have to conform to him?
That one I'll take it as a rumor, and I don't want to politics in this one, because you will have to know whether he was ever called and when was he called. You know,
Panyaza says he calls them,
yes,
but the city of Tshwane doesn't come.
I come from the background of the union that believes in the rule of natural justice, the audi alteram partem rule, that you listen to the other side of the story before you pass judgment. But I will answer your question and in this way. The government, as much as I'm saying it's quasi-federal, semi-federal, but the reality is that you do have IGR, intergovernmental relations. That is where you work through it. As much as we are saying rival treatment water plant, the national government must intervene. There are laws in the country that says the government can intervene. And where do you intervene? Not necessarily interfere. When do you intervene? How do you intervene? You might have seen letters written to the city of Tshwane by National Treasury. Because on the end of the day, whether we like it or not, we are a unitary state. You have got national government that will still oversee what you are doing as much as you are given a mandate. If you fail to discharge this mandate, the national government, the provincial government intervene. That's why you see your section 139 when municipalities are put under administration, is because we have those relations. There are many ways of going about it. The mayor may refuse if that is the case, but that does not stop Gauteng from intervening where they have to.
Mpona was administrative era in the city helpful?
Yes. No. It didn't help. It came at a very wrong time. Remember, we were under COVID. So you cannot really account to what they were doing at that particular time, except the PPE by procurement. What else were they supposed to do? They were under hard lockdown. But they come at I said wrong time, but right place to make sure that the life of the people are safeguarded. Because if we didn't have administration at that particular time.
So external interventions where an administrator comes and,
yes,
and checks out something to remove, it's a process that works.
No. I'm yet to...
Because you're saying it was a bad time, but
yes,
in a good condition, it could have helped.
No. I'm yet to see any institution or any municipality or department that was put under administration that works better. I'm yet to see that. And I don't know whether it's because of the people that we are deploying to administrate this process, because this process are meant to assist, but in most cases the institution become worse off.
Because it's a political decision.
It's not necessarily. You see, politicians get blamed for everything.
It's a political decision because
yes,
the cadres of this movement of yours,
yes,
are the ones who are in charge of the country and the province.
yes,
and they control yourselves through the tripartite alliance, because
correct,
the federation that has majority of unions, including SAMWU,
yes,
sleeps with the same politicians, and some of the strikes,
yes,
we are told, is just a vehicle of sabotaging or making DA look bad in the city of Tshwane. Anything you want to say about that?
No. I think that is utter rubbish. You know.
Before you answer, did you hear the lady who wished, she's an African mama?
Yes.
She wished apartheid back.
And I've heard about that.
You've heard about that?
No, I'll start with the last one. You see,
Okay.
it's out of frustration. Our people are frustrated because of lack of services, and the blame is squarely laid to the ANC. But when you look at the municipality where she's complaining from, is the DA-led municipality. Mm-hmm. They don't realize that in actual fact, what you are talking about is not talking about the ANC government-led government. It's the DA-led that is disservicing you. Now, everything that they are pointing out, I think that are happening within the local government. That's why our people are not even inclined to know that the ANC is not in the local government and they've got nothing to do. But let's go back to the fundamental question that you have asked about strikes. We have got strike in Machabeng currently. The ANC-led municipality, there's a strike for almost 2 weeks. Now, our track record at South African Municipal Workers Union is very clear. We are not shy from confronting problems, especially if our workers are not getting what they want. We don't strike because it's the DA, because it's ANC. It has nothing to do with politics, but to do with the agreements that we have. If we feel that workers' rights are being violated and we've got a reason to go to the street, we'll go to the street in any government. Under Sputla, we used to strike. Under Gwen Ramuhupa, I remember we had almost 7,000 contract workers. We're working under Quattroco and other middlemen who were there at that particular time. We fought with Gwen until workers were absorbed. In 2010, 6,000 workers were absorbed. It was under the ANC-led government. So workers must not ever think the alliance is their bargaining platform. It's not a bargaining platform. Remember, when we come together with the ANC, it was for a common cause to build a unitary state, a state that would care about people, the state that will be biased towards workers. But that does not mean that a state cannot oppress its people. And you have got laws that you need to work within. You have got labor relations, basic conditions, skills development. Those are laws that we need to advance. There's no way. If you look at all strikes, you find now going on strike, they are under the same alliance. So it does not take away our rights from striking. So we don't play politics when it comes to strike. I know many people have said that before. I was in JJ Tabani's show. He said, you guys, you strike because it's DA. I said, but that's not true. Strikes have been there. There's no time that you find that strike was suspended since the dawn of democracy. There's always been strike. They are regulated by law. And this is a right that we'll enjoy for a longest time.
I'm a citizen of Tshwane.
Yes.
Let me just listen to my ignorance. You'll see just how bad this thing is. As a resident, I am told that you guys who represent the employees there by the city of Tshwane, because you are not alone, you've got other unions, you have agreed with the city on how payment is going to be done, on how you are going to carry out, how you are going to pay people in terms of the increments. Afterwards, a white mayor came, the white mayor said, you cornered the city into a situation where it could not fulfill, because at the time it made a bad decision. And then if the city carries out their promise of paying you, the city will collapse because it will not have money to run its payroll. That is me as an outsider. I read the situation, and then you went on strike, and you know, strikes in South Africa are very difficult to even determine if it's a legal or not legal strike. And you were called back, people were fired, people were given blah blah blah. So it's a long story. I want you, for the layman who's sitting at home,
yes,
make it very easy for us. Right. What had happened, because it's like 6 months down the line, we still don't know what happened. When did the strike start? When did the strike end? Is it still on? What is happening?
Yeah,
please.
I'm going to carefully explain this.
I want you to be as less political as possible. Just mind the residents will not understand. I showed you my ignorance, because
yes,
I find it difficult to explain this situation. What is happening?
It's not only difficult for you. It's also difficult for the workers that we are leading.
It's very difficult to understand. Please make it easy for us.
Now, in 2019, South African Municipal Workers Union find out that the municipality was upgraded to a level 10 municipality, and 64 senior managers' salary were adjusted in line with the level of the municipality. And that differentiation led to a strike. Went to the bargaining council, and we signed an agreement to even change the salary scale. We were paid at Peterson at that particular time. Then we went to task grading, now which we are using currently.
Are those payroll
yes,
administrations?
Yes.
Okay.
So now we move from Peterson to task grading. Now what it means is that our salaries were upgraded to reflect the grade of the municipality where we are.
As with the managers.
Yeah, as with the managers, and that created a huge problem for the managers. But it was agreed upon, and what is commonly known today as the benchmarking. Now, fast forward in 2021 September, we engaged in a wage and salary negotiation. And when I'm saying we, I'm talking about the three components of the bargaining, which is South African Municipal Workers Union, IMATU, and SALGA at this SLGBC. And we signed a multi-year agreement, 3 years. The first year, we agreed that workers will get increase of 3.5. The second year, 4.8, if not 4.9. And the third year, 5.4. But in that particular agreement, it further says, if the municipalities are financially challenged, they are allowed to apply for an exemption. In other words, exempted from paying the salaries. Now, when we realized in 2021 that around October, the municipality is not going to implement the 3.5 as agreed by the bargaining council, we took the matter for compliance order. We received a compliance order on the 11th of December. Now, they still didn't comply. They were given 10 days to comply. Now, under our labor relations scheme of things, then you have to kick in section 33, capital letter A, which means it's going to go to arbitration. Now, the date was set to say it's going to sit on the 9th of March, 2022. On the eve of the arbitration, the city of Tshwane applied for exemption at night around 8 o'clock, and were not properly served. The email that they've used is not that of our organization, but that's what under the bridge. So when we go for that arbitration, then they said no to us. No, we have applied for exemption. And when you look at the agreement that was signed in 2021, it says should the municipality apply for exemption, the other processes will be suspended. So it suspends our arbitration. Now, their exemption hearing, fast forward, we go for exemption hearing, which was applied very late 3-4 months after the date of implementation, and it was dismissed. After being dismissed, they took it to the Labour Court for a review application. It's still there. I'll give you the case number. It's still there at the Labour Court. We have never received a date. And that's what happened. Effectively, it means workers didn't receive their salary increment at that particular time for 2021, 2022. Then 2022, 2023, we did receive our increment of 4.9. 2023, 2024, the financial year which ends this year, the last day of June, the employer again apply for exemption. Now, they went to exemption, we defeated them again. But they are applying their recourse. They go to the review, they've got 2 cases now at the review. Now, during that process, on the 26th of July, when workers realized that we didn't get increase, I think they went on the frolic of their own. And what happened. It's not illegal strike. It's unprotected. It was deemed by the court that is unprotected. But I can tell you, even workers, because I'm one of the people who stood up and said, don't go to strike. Because the collective agreement says you can apply for compliance. And the employer also can apply for an exemption. But if they apply for exemption, it will suspend your compliance. Now, when you stand up and say that, it's not a popular view when people are restrained from exercising their right. Then it becomes to say these leaders are bought. I was talking to my wife when I was coming here. Others, they are saying, oh, even his wife is a director. She does not even have metric and all that. And I want to tell you now that she's one of the brightest person that I've ever met. She studied at Tshwane University of Technology. She has got a diploma in logistics. She has completed her BTech sometimes back. Mm-hmm. So, and this has led to many workers to be dismissed because of not understanding. Remember, each and every strike, it has got limitation. Mm-hmm. Your strike must conform or comply with Chapter 4 of the Labor Relations Act, especially Section 64. Now, if you don't comply, under DA, you must know, it's either the law, and if you don't follow the law, then consequences will follow. And they won't hesitate to dismiss 108 people. They won't. So we were protecting them. Even now, and this is information that I was hoping that I won't share with anyone. But you are the first one to hear outside
and the citizens of Tshwane.
Accolades. Yeah. So the aim of the DA was to reverse the gain of 2019. That is our assessment of what is happening. To say, let's reverse this money that we paid in 2019, the benchmarking, because it has costed the city so much, which we don't believe that is a fair statement. Now, we have written to the judge president on the 16th of February. And the judge president is intervening on this case, because this case should have set long time ago. You can remember the review in 2022. Today we have not received a date.
March 2022.
Yes. We have not received a date. And so many things are happening there. And when the time is right, we'll call you.
You understand our confusion?
No, there's a lot of confusion. That's why it's difficult even for me. One member asked me, and I said, how do I tell members this thing that I'm telling you? You're going to be more confused because, number one, there's a review process. The case went to
there
review.
There are 2 cases running in tandem. The other one is waiting for this one.
Yes. Now, but reviews in a South African law are supposed to be an urgent application. But this one took a year without anything being done.
So in the media, we would have called it when by June and the monies didn't come in, and your constituency decided we are doing it for ourselves.
Yes.
Of course, against your advice.
Yes.
We in the media would have called it a wildcat strike.
Correct.
And you've got an unprotected strike, you've got an illegal strike, I want you to define these things for us. Just make it easy for us to understand.
You see, you're so right. You started with wildcat strike.
Yes.
When the strike started, the mayor went and said it's a wildcat strike. And I said, that is the right characterization of a strike. and our members were like, he's calling out fat cats and all that. but that is a definition of a strike that is not sanctioned by any leader that even lack any demand. Yeah, that you call it a wildcat strike. So in terms of unprotected strike, it's when the strike is not conforming to the Labor Relations Act. Like, for example, you don't have a dispute at the bargaining council or CCMA, you didn't declare a strike within 48 hours, then it's unprotected. In terms of illegal strike, there's nothing called illegal strike in South African context, because if it's illegal, it means you can even be arrested. No. It's not. Illegal and unprotected are two different things. When you do something illegal, let me say, using drugs is illegal. If you are found with drugs, you get arrested. So in the South African context, if it's unprotected, it is a misconduct. So it must be dealt with as a misconduct. It's not illegal. I've heard a lot of people say it's illegal. No, there's nothing like that. There's no. So
why do you think in the media they call it a legal strike? An illegal strike.
No, it's just how we say things. For example, you find the community, they're protesting. We call it a strike.
Yeah.
But when you look at the definition of strike, it's a concerted effort of workers who withdraw their labor in advancing their grievances.
I think it's a those are legacy ways that come from the mid-1980s.
No, definitely.
Yeah, for
definitely.
the consumer boycott, because everything was then called a strike.
Yeah, so strike can only be done by workers, but many people don't realize. Even myself, I go to Oliven, I find people, I say, no, there's a strike in Oliven, but
they blockaded.
They block. That's a protest.
Yes.
It's a protest action. But remember, strike can also take a form of protest action. But not every protest action is a strike.
And picketing is a strike.
No, it's not.
I don't know what we call it.
No, it's not. It's not. It's a strike.
So if we declare picketing rules and then we give you a demarcated area, for yourself it will be in front of the.
No. What you do with picketing, it takes a different rules. What normally happen? You declare strike, because striking is to withdraw your labor.
Yes.
Now, if you decide you want to go to your employer's side and have a protest action or gather there, then you enter into picketing rule.
Yes.
Yes, to say we're going to picket here so that we raise our concerns and all that. Other things that you see happening are not regulated. Yeah, that's when you have declared a strike and you go to employer every day and you chant in front of their offices. It's not regulated by law.
Okay.
Yeah, that is just to gain public sympathy and to make sure that the message is understood out there, to say this is what we are striking about. Yeah, but indeed, the Tshwane issue has created a lot of problem. It has created sleepless night for majority of us. We've been called sellout. Others called us a sweetheart organization. I'm a proponent of law, and I believe that if the law says, if the employer review, you have got a right to defend your members. That's what we do. We are given that right. The only time that you can accuse us of being bought is when we are just beaten hands down and we don't do anything. In this case, we are defending, we are employing best minds, best lawyers, and things are going to work, and they are going to work for good.
Red leftist organizations in politics would then say what needs to be done. In a situation like this, what needs to be done?
Look,
you've got two processes that are hung and they are delayed. You contacted the judge president. Is it correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, you contacted the judge president to come and intervene.
Yes.
Another external person to come into
in
terms of
no.
Yeah.
We are saying, Judge President, these cases have been long in your role.
Expedite
these things.
I've seen those not working in many institutions.
No, this one will work. I can tell you. Judge President, immediately he received the letter. On the 19th, he was on top of the registrar to say, tell me what is happening. Tell me why.
I've seen many organizations battle with that, especially unions.
Yes.
Yes.
No. It's
to an extent that their the juniors of the judges
Yes.
received unfavorable demands and accusations of favoritism. But I want to understand what needs to be done now as we speak.
No. What we need to be done is what I've said already. We have written to Judge President. The matter is taking care. And funny enough, after we wrote to the Judge President, on Monday we were told that he's just waiting for a date. Already it has been allocated a judge. So I don't want to divulge much.
Okay.
Immediately there's something, I'll come back to you to say, let's talk about that matter, because it may implicate a lot of people.
Yes.
We believe that the registrar has been frustrating the process. We believe that. And that we have written it down to the Judge President to say.
You would have realized I'm someone who's not afraid to go into demographics of any character.
Yes.
Is the registrar politically aligned differently, or in terms of racial composition?
No. They're black people. They're just like any other person.
Why would there be motivation for
every man has got their own
sabotaging?
price?
People are on people's payrolls.
No, definitely. I mean, really. You see, in South Africa, you can blame government all you want. You can blame the ANC. You go to Home Affairs just to stand on the queue. A person can sell you to stand on the queue, to say, pay R5 for you to stand here. Pay R5 for you to go the other side.
So
no, even people who don't have powers.
Bureaucratic state thrives on this red tape.
Yeah. Because you're talking about registrar, we're not talking about the judges.
Yes.
The judges are waiting there.
Yes.
Cases are not coming.
Someone is stifling processes.
Somebody
down there.
just make sure that it does not go there.
And then so someone can come in and sweeten the process.
Yes. Even to pay, I can tell you, when people's invoices are submitted, you need to pay somebody for it to be released. And that is what is wrong about this country. That somebody for them to do their work,
so
they need somebody to do something. For them not to do their work, somebody must pay and say, don't do that work.
Is the strike on? Was a strike ever on?
No, look, I will say South African Municipal Workers Union, it understands the labor relations organization. It would never call for unprotected strike. We will never, at any given time, call for unprotected strike. You see, so the question whether it was on or off, it can be answered by other people, but some will never call for a strike. Because if you call for a strike and it's unprotected, you have got the Department of Labor, who has got a registrar who's working overtime. And I must tell you, for the first time, the registrar is taking people head on, deregistering union, putting union under administration. We have been pointed at to say, SAMWU, we saw your strike at in 2019, when the strike in 2019 didn't comply with section of the labor relations. And he said, no, tell me if that strike is protected or not unprotected. And we said it's not protected. There are consequences for embarking on that because you are violating the law. We are a registered trade union. Therefore, you need to act within the law. Remember, the unions were not forced to register.
Yeah.
But when you are registered, you need to comply with the Labor Relations Act.
Tsepo Mahlangu of Laska, a.k.a. Tshwane Parliament, says you guys are on a strike. If you are not, then how come you fail to do certain things? And during strikes, you were pointed at as instigators, and you intimidated people not to go to work. Was SAMWU either Madala's side or a decision from yourself? You have taken a decision to participate in the strike?
No, we haven't. Like I'm saying, I'm one of the people who are accused. Even there's a voice recording that is going around that says I'm working with Brink. Because I stood up in a meeting and said, you are not going to go to unprotected strike. And I still maintain that. You see, people must allow to be led. And there are people who don't want the law, but also want to exercise the law. Remember, the increase is a product of collective bargaining. Equally, the exemption process is product of collective bargaining. the review process, the product of labor relations. And these labor relations give us refugee to say you can defend yourself.
Do you subscribe to the view that says of course it's pending the two cases that are sitting there for Tshwane itself to be assessed, but are you a proponent of this view that says the city cannot honor its obligations made in 2019? Should it I know you might be preempting certain things, but are you of the view that this is a legitimate concern that should they honor the 2019 agreements, the city will collapse financially?
It's 2021. The 2019 is the benchmarking that they blame, that's the one that depleted the fund of the city. But you see, let me give an example. You father a child outside your house. Now, you earn 10,000 rand. Your person then take you to maintenance court. You show the court that I've got nothing in my bank account. The court will then look at how do you use your money. And we find that every weekend you are buying a bottle of whiskey.
It means I could actually sacrifice.
Now, the issue is not affordability. It's how you prioritize your things.
Oh.
The Auditor General is saying you spend 10 billion on unauthorized expenditure, and others cannot be accounted for. The Auditor General report, if you look at it, it says city has collapsed in terms of their accounting processes, because some of the things he said, I cannot confirm the veracity of the information you are giving me. When you are saying no, she nearly throw the book back at Tshwane to say what you brought before me does not exist. So now workers are paying for wrong decisions.
So you are in essence saying, and I hope you are listening to him, he's in essence saying the delay from March 2022 to have the city's book to say, come, let's see if indeed you cannot honor these agreements, actually suits the city of Tshwane, DA city of Tshwane.
No, why are they losing the cases? Remember, when they lose the case, the agreement that we have signed is watertight. Many people think it's weak. We said you bring two audited financial statements. You bring 2022, 2023, 2024. Then we look at it and say whether you can afford or not. That is why the commissioners arrive and say the city you can. Actually, SAMWU demonstrated that you can. Initially, they said we didn't budget for this thing.
Yeah.
Then when we caught them out, because the salary bill of City of Tshwane is budgeted at 11.6 billion, and we only spent 11.2 billion. And they said for them to infuse the further increase, they need 600 million. We said no, but if you look at 11.2 plus 600, it's still 1.8. And when you look to the preceding year, the city returned 600 million because it was in excess. So that's a positive variable.
So I want you to explain, because now we are wrapping up. Please explain to the citizens.
Yes.
They say the city of Tshwane did not understand grants and stuff. They had to return money. What does it mean?
Now, there's no way that they didn't understand. This is what is happening. Now, and in many municipalities, that is why your project management unit must be fully functioning. Because for you to get grants and to spend it fully, you need to have projects that are on the pipeline, and that you know that we've got this project line up, and this project will get this much, and then you commit to those projects. Majority of people, they don't do that. Our projects are paid very late, and that's why you end up having money you have to return, because the money that for grant cannot be used for something else. Others end up over-committing so that they spend everything.
Is it incompetence or deliberate ploy to frustrate?
No, look, I don't know, because majority of municipalities are struggling. That's why one time I said, I just want to go to check how
Salga does offer classes, by the way. I just want to check. All of these things, Salga does have classes, workshop where it takes people. Am I too ignorant?
It's difficult. It's difficult. You can be taken to all sort of classes. But also political will must prevail. Okay. Must see people committing and make sure that we follow up. That's why PMU, if you look at the PMU, I mean the project management unit, they are not functioning. That's why we end up outsourcing this work. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you find that is done by private companies and all that.
So, explain. People say municipalities, they would hire people, professionals, but still outsource that work to consultants.
That's the problem that we have.
So, in the city, do you have the problem?
No, we do have. I can give you a simplest example. You have got waste removal.
Yes.
There are workers there that are employed to do waste removal.
Ish.
But you have got private companies doing the same work. So there's duplication. Some of the work that is being done can be done internally. And we have raised that a couple of times with the city. There's no logic. You have got electricity department, but when you look at, I went to radio, I think it was Radio 2000, with the former MMC of Finance, and said, but why do you hire 25 debt collectors, 25 firms of debt collectors, whereas you have got department that can do that? You hire companies to cut electricity, but you have got electricity department that can do that. So you end up duplicating this work. And in most cases, some contractors can come and they don't do work, and work must be finished by employees of the municipality and be paid to the private companies. And that is rife. It's happening in many areas. So the challenges that we have, look, if we are not patriotic, not only Tshwane will collapse, the entire country will collapse. Because decisions that are taken, go to waste currently at, I think it's Cornerful. There are trucks of the municipality that does not have license disc, and the municipality give license disc. Some just have tire punchers. They are not being utilized because private company must come and do that work.
Yeah,
so many things are happening. And
you, as the custodians of this, what do they call it when you do license?
Yes.
Yes, you still need someone external to come in and do it for you.
No. I'm not saying you need somebody. I'm saying the truck is there. License disc is vedile. We cannot renew it, really municipality.
But you're the
and you say this guy is not in the road because I am a child. And you are a municipality.
Right now we go to
your government.
Okay.
And you stop people in the road and said, but you can't stop your own. You can't make sure that your own is road width and all that.
All right. So let's do this. The city of Tshwane has not been led by a majority ANC since when?
2016.
Do you want the Congress movement and all its experts to come back and revive what Maepa wanted to do and failed, and Sputla tried to do but could not finish?
Hey, look, in its current state, city of Tshwane is at the ICU.
So people are afraid to adopt it.
If you were to adopt it now, politically you'll be setting yourself
up. That's the
for
accusation failure. People are saying. They say you guys gave us this thing and it's dead. We are trying to revive it.
It was not dead. It was killed. Look, remember
those guys says you guys had ghost workers and you had just people on the payroll.
There's nothing
under the mayor's.
There's nothing called ghost workers. Look, politicians are just politicians. Politicians don't care about people. I'm telling you this, and I'll give you a simple example. You said, we'll go back to your question whether I want the ANC to come back. You see, the DA claim clean governance. And they say the city is collapsing, we don't have money. What do? They go and appoint a deputy city mayor.
They say there's no cost
Where is
implications.
no, there's no way. That person must get salary. That person must get assistant, must have PA, must have drivers, must have this and that, must have bodyguards. What are you talking about?
Well, they said in their defense, they say this won't affect because that person is already inside.
No. That's not how things work. Unfortunately, the salary inside is not the salary that she's going to get. The perks. It's just like when I was the regional chair and you said when I go to national, there's not going to be effect. There will be.
You move with power.
When I move up, you see, ordinarily, if we say...
you drink Rikoff in the morning, now you want Jacob.
No. When you go to national, of course. Now, I must travel to Cape Town. There are cost implications.
Yes.
For me to travel there, they must pay. But when I was the regional chair, I will only service my area.
Your jurisdiction becomes bigger, and then your logistics become bigger. The budget in that office automatically expands.
Nah, there's nothing like that. Let's not play politics. Let's just leave that thing. That shows that politics are at the center stage. Service delivery is not important. We don't care much about what people feel and what people want. Because I can tell you, I don't think it was even a wise decision to do that, but it was political motivated. We are in an alliance or we are in a coalition, Kamina, Kawena, we give each other power. Let's share.
EFF was here.
Yes.
The councillor of EFF said they are going to take not only Tshwane, but they will take Gauteng.
Yes.
Kampuiseni close.
Yes.
And who are you fielding as ANC in the province?
No, the African National Congress have got a natural choice. That's Panyaza. He's doing well. Irrespective of what people are saying, he's reviving he resonates with everyone. He's the only former MEC that when he was changed from his portfolio, the entire Gauteng stood up and said he must go back to education. It has never happened.
No one questions the work ethic of that man and his track record.
Yes.
He will, because it's politics, you will never get a yardstick of a good political office, especially if someone has passed.
Yes.
That's why we are still battling to understand the 9 wasted years, because there's no yardstick.
Yes.
I want to ask you, why isn't Panyaza Lesufi going to the #1 office in Mahlamba Ndlovu?
Good question. Take that man to give him the presidency. He has done well. If you can,
he's the only shining.
If you can lead Gauteng,
yes,
I can tell you. If you can lead Gauteng, you can lead the entire South Africa.
Yes, because that man has shown.
No, he has shown. No, but it's just a matter of timing. Remember now, if you look at the Cyril's gang, they're all going out. That gang is going. We are going to have fresh leaders. The new generation is coming in. And that's where the new generation need to pick up and need to consolidate and make sure that we have got a better future.
Do you think if you put Panyaza on the poster, on the poll,
yes,
you would make people change their mind? Because now you are labeled the ANC of Cyril Ramaphosa by the MK, because they don't want anything positive. When it was theirs, it was the ANC.
No. Let's just talk about that.
I want to understand. Is it too difficult for the ANC to change? Because now the external environment doesn't allow them to say, after this one becomes this one, after this one.
But let's talk about the ANC of Cyril. That's nonsense.
Yeah. Tell me.
That's nonsense. No, let me explain this one.
Please
this one I'm not going to allow you to channel me.
Yes.
You see, you cannot separate Cyril from the 30 years of ANC government.
Yes.
That would be totally wrong. There's no one who was leading at their own behest.
Yes.
You were given mandate by the African National Congress. You see, I cannot say Mbeki build a school.
That's why you're able to recall people.
Yes, it was the ANC-led government. The attempt to isolate Cyril is for people who have got nefarious reasons to say, I've done better than him. And that is mischievous, especially coming from the former president. You don't do that. When you are a leader, you need to understand you are deployed by your party, and you toe the party line, you do what the party is saying. So there's nothing like that. So that's an attempt to isolate Cyril. But it has got other undertones that are distasteful. And there are people who believe that. It's the same as saying that there's 9 wasted years. You know, I'm very careful not to find myself criticizing JZ during his stay as the president, because you cannot do so and isolate the ANC. He was the face of the African National Congress. Like Gwede said, Cyril does not own the organization. He can die tomorrow morning. The ANC will continue. We'll have a new president who will still take over and move forward.
Let's talk about your projected performance.
Yes.
Gauteng has been very difficult to win.
Now we're going to win Gauteng.
It was just margins. Few margins of
now we're going to win.
I'll just show the numbers here. But what are your projections?
We're going to win Gauteng hands down. I cannot give the numbers, but I can tell you now. If you see the attention that Panyaza is getting,
hands down is 50 plus.
Yeah, it hands down. I'm telling you, we are going to win outright majority in Gauteng. What happened is that the last time I've done door to door, I think it was in 1994. Aggressively doing door to door campaign. 1994. I was still at high school at that particular time.
Yeah.
At the dawn of democracy. But this year, there are people who are like me who said we are going back to make sure that the ANC win with emphatic victory. Because if we don't do that, you will have a situation like in Tshwane. The coalition government is not working for us. So we need an outright winner. And the outright winner, it must be done by us. Why I'm saying Gauteng is we're going to win? Panyaza is doing well.
Talk to citizens of Gauteng.
Yes.
The EFF is so cold, it calls Panyaza the crime wardens. It calls them green beans. It says through their CIC, of course,
yes,
once they take provincial power, they are going to fire all of those guys.
Sure.
What message can you give to the citizens?
I think that's an own goal, eh? But it's not only, I don't know why we're fascinated about talking EFF saying that. Tshwane hasn't said, when we take national government, we're going to fire all public servants. That's what he said. So it's not, we may be fascinated about the EFF, but there's somebody who's talking something bigger than what the EFF is saying. To me, there are politics at play that I can say, you understand? Because I know, when the ANC government took over in 1994, we find people in the system. There are laws in this country that says this is how you fire an employee, and if this employee was employed as per the definition of the Labor Relations Act. So those are just politics.
Yeah.
And I think it's an own goal because obviously human beings, we are erratic by nature. We don't think, in most cases, we use our feelings. If I was to be this crime warden,
I wanted to ask you
now,
exactly
I am a crime warden, and somebody says, when I come in, I'm going to dismiss you. Even my family, we're going to stand up and say, we're not going to vote for this one, we'll rather vote for this one.
To take all your family.
That's why I'm saying it's an own goal. Because you see why we fight in the most. It's when you feel people encroach your private space, your space of comfort. So that is what they are saying, and I can tell you, I don't know whether these crime warden, they are ANC members or not, but I've seen one who was paraded as an EFF person and all that at some stage. I don't know how truthful is that, because you don't know what is happening out there. It means all of them, they are going to vote for the ANC. I can tell you that. It does not need scientific analysis. Immediately you say, we are going to dismiss all SAMWU members. If we come to government, all SAMWU members are going to vote against you.
Yes, it's natural.
But I think it's just politics. I don't think people are that heartless that they think people getting work.
But the intention is dangerous.
Yeah, but for people getting work, we should applaud that. But obviously, politicians are politicians.
Okay, let's talk about what is it that the city of Tshwane can contribute to the province. What are the things that you think comrades in Tshwane can do? You know, Tshwane region has been one of the most difficult since the Sputla and his late nemesis has passed.
Yes.
the region has always struggled to find unity. And you will see that's why the Maipa factor never came to fruition. Is the region of ANC in Tshwane strong enough to rally people behind?
No, I think it is. But besides that, I think these elections are going to be difficult.
But you said you're going to win it easy.
And no, I want to...
Yeah.
And be easy to win.
Yeah.
People are just turbocharged. You don't need the region to mobilize.
Mm-hmm.
People are just mobilized. It's just like in SAMWU currently. If I were to go to Church Square and say the strike start now without mobilizing, people will come out. Because they are ready for action. They're ready to defend themselves. Yeah, the anger is there.
Spark, it will explode.
Exactly. So there's that natural process for now. But the ANC in Tshwane need to really work hard. If there are differences, if there are any which I'm not aware of, they need to sort them out.
There's lots of infighting there.
Yeah, no. But that's just generally the ANC people. We hate each other so much. We refer to each other as things that you don't even refer to your enemies. Yes. I think but that's what power does. Power attracts a lot of characters. Everybody want to lead and all that. So we become an enemy of our own success.
As a union,
yes,
COSATU would then come again and tell us that they will be behind the ANC. Let's vote for the ANC. They'll be asking your employees to rally behind the candidate of the ANC to return power.
Yes.
Do you not find it as a contradiction? Because people are always quoting it against yourselves.
No. Look, I think is the history of where we are coming from, and our historical ties that we will find it difficult for us to divorce the African National Congress. And also, if you are a politician, you will understand there's a general message that is sent by opposition. There's yellow COSATU, this. They want workers not to support the African National Congress because they understand the power of the workers. Once the workers in South Africa don't support the African National Congress, the ANC will never win. And if it does not win, we're going to go to a coalition.
Did COSATU unions win labor brokering?
No, we're winning. If you look
Have you won it?
No, we won in many ways.
That thing is as old as
Polokwane. No, but you don't need that. You just need to have a Labor Relations Act that talks to that. We've got Section 198 of the Labor Relations Act. It talks to that. The problem with ourselves, you see, when you are a man of blood and flesh, never expect anyone to give you freedom and rights. You take it. It's there in the Constitution. It's there in the laws.
Your cadres who are deployed
Yes.
are not doing the job.
No, they don't have to. Remember, when you are deployed by the state, you act on the behalf of the state. And the state is oppressive by nature. So the workers and the leaders of the workers must enforce those laws. That is why you have got your CCMA. The structures established for recourse. This CCMA was created because we knew that it's not going to be a smooth sailing.
Comrades are saying another labor broker masquerading as security companies and cleaning companies. Those people are just labor brokers. You've insourced successfully, as you said, in 2010. Is it?
Yeah.
In the city?
Yes.
What makes it difficult that the city can make an assessment of how many people it needs in its employ, so it could cut away, even if it's general workers who come as projects emerge. So
Yes.
it could. What makes it difficult? Is it because of coalitions? Because there are municipalities where yourselves you are governing without coalition. What makes it difficult?
No, I don't have just a straight answer to that. Mm-hmm. But I think the issue of tenders are problematic. And they were meant to advance a certain agenda. And now they are impacting on service delivery, because even people don't even know how to do job. They are given work, and they end up there. So I think, in the main, is if we're to procure these people permanently, where will our comrade get something from? You know, there is no reason behind all this tender system, because we still appointing from the very same people that we could have appointed directly. As much as I know, there will be other things at play, like if you, myself, I'm more expensive like somebody who can through a labor broker or through a contract. I get my pension, I get housing allowance, I get provident fund, and I got sick leave, and we understand that there are a lot of cost implication that goes with permanent workers, but there is no reason. Actually, we should have been now saying, remember, we were supposed to build a culpable state that must be able to respond to challenges. By now, we should have been saying we're no longer going to do tender on work that is not a specialist. We can only do in a specialized field like this one and this one, not just security guard, cleaner. Get somebody to do this work.
Thank you very much for coming.
You're welcome.
Do you need closing words?
No,
either from the union side or from the because you chickened out from giving us projections of how are you going to do in the election.
No, I gave my projection. I
you just said
hands down, overwhelming, we are going to win this thing. And if I were to give you, I'm giving you 56%.
5-6.
5-6.
We'll mark you on that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.